and welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea. Today I'm going to start the introduction of the project that I'm hoping to work through successfully this autumn and winter. And as you know from the video I posted up a couple of days ago, that the project is going to be to work through, or try to work through, Tarot for Writers by Corinne Kenner. Now, already you're going to say, oh, she's already read the book. I've done a good bit of reading. And rather than waiting until the autumn evenings arrive, well, or start of autumn today, and it is getting darker quite a bit earlier, I thought I'd just do this basic intro so that the next one, when we're sitting here of a nice dark autumn stroke winter's evening with the candles lit and the lights on and just chilling together, working through this book, carrying out some activities and just discussing the activity that we're doing, that I would start with a little bit of an intro first. But first, let's just look at my area. Now, many people would say, all this clutter, is that conducive to being able to take your mind off things? Because that does look like clutter behind me. But let me just say, it is organised chaos. My tarot space, my reading space, my meditation space and my crafting space all blends into one. And I'm going to just give you an explanation and a little rundown of the area that I'm going to be doing my Tarot for Writers. Sometimes I'll be in here, sometimes I'll be at my desk downstairs at my computer there. But right now, this intro, I just feel that this is where I should be. I have a lot of craft materials in that box there. That was a Christmas box that was had held gifts in a couple of years ago. Above it are my stocks of incense, a lot of ephemera that I use in tarot journaling. That wooden box there holds huge amounts of ephemera. There I have my little owl that overlooks me. In the sewing basket over there, I have beads, I have ribbon, I have embroidery cottons, anything that I will use when it comes to crafting. Something which I haven't done for a while. Between tarot, gardening, my meditation, going for my bike ride, making my pestos and jams and marmalades, I haven't had a lot of time for crafting, and I'm hoping to change that, to add that into my daily routine, or at least a weekly routine. And here behind me you can see my collection of Rubik cubes. I actually had to bring that up from downstairs. They were sort of taking over, so they need to be sorted out and put in some sort of display that's a little bit organised. Have I completed all those in the box? Yes, I actually have. I still do use them now. There's one here that has me completely flummoxed, and that's the 5x5. I'm just struggling getting those edges, but I will manage it. So on my desk, I've basically cleared it to a degree, but if you were to see this, you'd say, Elaine, seriously, cleared? Don't think so. I have candles lit because I just feel that it gives you a focal point, it gives you a peace, and it seems to clear the air. One of the candles that I have lit here is a candle that I picked up at one of the little markets, and it's the Irish Artisan Candles. It's a small Wexford-based chandlery, and they're hand pouring only eco soy wax. It's scented with blended essential oils, and all candles are 100% natural and vegan friendly. And this particular one is lemongrass and ginger. And it really does smell of lemongrass and ginger in a subtle, beautiful way. My last one that I had from them was coconut, and that was so beautiful too. Really gave you that summer smell. I have candles lit there. I have a little cubby hole here with pens, pencils, paintbrushes, glues, and also tarot paraphernalia in the sense of tarot ephemera, my yes no coins, and a variety of little things that I put into tarot journals. I have a couple of tarot cards here, but I also have this. This stays beside me. This actually stays in my little tarot hold here. I will turn you around in a sec to show you. But this here, my mum gave me this on her visit, not this last visit she was here, but the one before. And this is something that I bought for my dad a number of years ago. And it says on it, my father's name, best father of the year, and love from me. And as you know, my father passed away 4 years ago, and Mum found this in his bedside locker. And so she gave it to me, and it's his pocket watch that I bought from him. He collected pocket watches, and his collection was shared out among his grandchildren. But this is one that I bought for him, so this stays on my table. Just underneath, a gift that I had last Christmas from a very good friend of mine, and that is a pencil drawing of my dad. So they're here with me in my room. Why am I giving you this tour when I'm supposed to be talking about tarot for writers? I'm giving you this tour simply because I feel that environment is important. Yes, in the book it states a clutter-free desk, an empty desk with just your tarot cards and your notebook. But that would distract me, because the things that are on my desk are things that are personal to me, things that are to do with tarot, but that I don't get distracted with, but I know that if I need them, they're there. So it's what, you know, not one method suits everybody, you know. So for now, Dad, I'm just going to pop you up, just pop you there, back where you were. And I'll pop his watch away. So this is where I'm going to be carrying out the majority of my activities from, and like I say, now and again from my computer desk downstairs. And I'll just turn the camera around, and I have my cup of coffee there as well. I think it might have gone cold by now. I'll just turn the camera around and move you so that you can see, oops, where I am tarotting from. So there you go. You know, my desk is not uncluttered, but it's, I suppose, a neat clutter. I have my pencils, my coloured pencils and water pencils there, and my notebook and sketchbook there with my pens. I have a journal and more pens there, tarot decks there. There are my brushes and pens, my candles, and that's my tray that I use for charm casting. I haven't lit my candles on my altar yet because my meditation time will be after this video. You can see my greenhouse from here. There we go, everything growing nicely. So this is where I am tarotting from, and that is my organised chaos there. That would probably drive some people mad. Me, it just keeps me comfortable. So, you can see what I can see now. Now, let's get on and look at Tarot for Writers. This is the book I'm going to be working through. It is quite a big book, but don't let that put you off, because it's a very good book. Now, it says here, I'll read the blurb on the back for you. Kickstart your creativity. Once reserved for mystics and seers, the tarot is one of the best tools for boosting your creativity and shifting your imagination into high gear. Famous authors such as John Steinbeck and Stephen King have used this practical method to tap into deep wells of inspiration, and you can enliven your own writing the same way, whether you craft short stories, novels, poetry, non-fiction, or even business proposals. Tarot for Writers will guide you through each stage of the creative process, from fleshing out a premise to promoting a finished work. Enhance your storytelling technique through over 500 enjoyable writing prompts, exploratory games for groups and individuals, tarot journaling, and other ideas stimulating activities that call upon the archetypal imagery and multi-layered symbolism in the tarot. Infuse flair and originality into your work as you learn to interpret symbols and myths in all 78 tarot cards, use classic tarot layouts and spreads to structure your story, brainstorm story ideas and develop dialogue and plot, create detailed settings, powerful scenes and dynamic characters, overcome writer's block, and breathe new life into existing projects. Now that's me. As a writer, you hold the power of creation in your hands. By exploring the tarot and incorporating it into your writing practice, you will set your creative potential soaring to new heights. And Corinne Kenner, who is the author of this book, is from Florida. She holds a bachelor's degree in philosophy and is a certified tarot master. She regularly teaches tarot classes, conducts writing workshops, and is the creator of several tarot books. She is also the author of more than 20 books on tarot, and you can visit her at www.hauntedantiqueshop.com. Now that sounds good. So, here we go. You can say, what has Elaine marked off already? Well, when you look at this book, the book is broken down into 3 specific parts, and I've marked those with these blue tabs here. And I'm just going to go to the contents page to explain those 3 specific parts to you. Part 1 is Tarot 101. It's Tarot Basics, how to read the cards. It's a classic 3-card layouts. Part 2 is the Writer's Tarot, where you look at character creation, astrology and tarot, storylines and plot, tarot journeys, setting and description, breaking writer's block, and the tarot card writing coach. And then part 3 is the Writer's Guide to Tarot Cards. So you then have it broken down with each of the major arcana and the minor arcana, and it gives you notes on each. Now, what do I like about this book? When I opened this book and I saw that part 1 was Tarot 101, I thought, I think I can skip that bit because, you know, at the end of the day, I've been involved in tarot since the age of 18 and I am 55, soon to be 56. And I thought, I don't really need that bit, so if I just hop on over to the writers section. However, I got stuck into the introduction and the preface, the acknowledgements, and the how to use this book section were so interesting and so enjoyable and easy to read that I just continued on. I was looking at part 1, Tarot 101. I thought, well, I'll just have a little nosy. And do you know something? This book, albeit designed for tarot for writers, Tarot 101 in this book is something that could be read by everybody, newbies to tarot and seasoned readers alike. And for seasoned readers, I would say, people might say, well, why would you recommend a seasoned reader read Tarot 101 when, to all intents and purposes, we sort of know what the cards are? Every book that I have on tarot starts off with an explanation as to what tarot is. And do you know, it's really nice to see how each author presents the tarot to us. And the way Corinne Kenner has presented the tarot in this book is beautifully put. There's no sort of airy-fairy speech. There's no, you know, this is the basic meaning and regurgitating the little white book in an RWS. There's no language that could confuse or throw people off course, saying, oh, I'm never going to understand this. And it's aimed at absolutely everybody. But it incorporates not only the tarot card, because Corinne has gone on to explain in this, let me just get to the page that I want, you know, symbolic language, but she's not used highbrow language that can flummox people. You know, then room of your own, looking at where we tarot. Prepare to read and write, and it's getting yourself organised, okay? Then you've got your step-by-step reading routine and reversals fortune. This is all from chapters 1 and 2. And the how to read a tarot card is really lovely to read, and it's refreshing, and it also brings back, do you know, I'd forgotten about that, or I never thought of that. But what I do like about this, so when you're preparing to read, Corinne talks through cleansing your space. Centre yourself, ground yourself, and shield yourself. Be open, be focused, be precise, be clear. Shuffle, deal, read out loud. Do the maths, which is using the numbers on each card. Engage your senses, listen to the language of colour. Look at symbols, speak freely, clarify. Reversals, and it's not long, in-depth, you don't need a shovel to dig your way through it. It's clear, concise and precise. Now, Corinne then talks about, in chapter 3, classic spread layouts. Now, this is not a massive amount to read, but it's engaging. It's not only engaging, once I started reading, before I knew it, I was at part 2 and chapter 5. So it's really, really quite wonderful. And would I recommend that everybody read this, or that some skip over it? If you want to skip over it, do. But this sets you off down the road to really enjoy working through this book. So all this is section 1. It's not a lot. It is what? The sum total with contents and introductions and how-tos, 33 pages. Absolutely not a lot at all. In part 3, the writer's tarot. What I liked about this, I'm actually on to 3 of part 3, which actually is not chapter 3. It's just bear with me. I'm on chapter 5, okay? And so chapter 1, we look at character creation, and you have your cast of characters. You have your protagonist and your antagonist. Now, there are, if you are looking at tarot for writers, you would already be familiar with protagonist and antagonist. But here, what I like about this is Corinne has actually not assumed that everybody understands the terms protagonist, antagonist, foils, supporting characters and stock characters. She hasn't just assumed, well, this person wants to go ahead and write, so they should already be aware of X, Y and Z. A clear definition of protagonist, of antagonist, of foils, of supporting characters and of stock characters. And to practice, to write down, make keywords, make notes. A reading here that Corinne did, she did a quick shuffle of the deck and produced 5 cards, one to represent a protagonist, then an antagonist, a protagonist's foil, so that would be the second character that is in support of the sort of second main character on your protagonist side, the antagonist's foil, and the supporting character. And what she has done, she's shuffled the card, she's put those little titles there, and she's dealt 1 card for each. So straight away, our protagonist card came out as the sun. So the sun, the protagonist in this would be heroic, a heroic personality on a metaphorical white horse, so to speak. So the hero of the story. The antagonist came out as the Knight of Cups, an insecure young man who wants to prove himself by being a conquering hero. The protagonist's foil came out as the King of Swords, the hero's ageing father, unwilling to relinquish his throne, and at some point the hero will have to claim the kingdom for his own. So will our protagonist have to overthrow his own father? And then we have the antagonist's foil, 2 of Swords, a young woman blinded by her love for the King of Cups. And our supporting character, the Star, a chatty waitress who serves up hot gossip along with her coffees. So these are examples, and they're activities. You can just stop there, grab your reading cloth, fire out your cards and think, let's have a go straight away. Now, that's great when you're starting off, okay? It's wonderful. And then we've got different spreads I absolutely loved. Let me find them. Here's me saying, oh, by the way, I've marked here this section on page 45, the typecasting. So typecasting is another way to develop and make you think of Mage Arcana cards. So what I liked about this is a list, okay, of typecasting, and it goes on for a number of pages. It goes on for 1, 2, 3 and a bit pages, and it gives you different sort of scenarios. So if you're looking for, say, the dictator, domineering and controlling ruler, so what would you look at for that? Could you look at the emperor? Could you look at the King of Swords? that sort of thing. The father, a leader, a voice of collective authority, a provider and protector who can also be stern, powerful and controlling. Again, you could look at the emperor for that as well. So basically what you're doing, you're looking at typecast and you're thinking, well, okay, the matriarch, a woman who is head of an extended family, I'll use the empress. So you can use the empress there and then take the qualities of the empress and be able to apply those qualities to the character in your story. As a writer, you can find clues to your character's personalities in the minor arcana cards through through elemental associations. Remember that wands are the fiery cards of spiritual life, cups are the watery cards of emotional existence, swords are the airy cards of intellect and communication, and pentacles are the earthy cards of physical reality. So when you've got your character by association with the elements, you can then build your character's personality and how they come across and all their redeeming and not too redeeming features. On chapter 5, where we're introducing astrology and tarot. And what I like about this as well is that we're looking at, well, already we're looking at elements, we looked at number, we're now looking at astrology and thinking, well, will my head take this? Yes, it will. And I'll tell you why. Everything is linked very simply. I'm going to be making myself up a chart, and I'm going to have notes on that chart that I will quite happily share on here once we start the writing process. But for now, I'm going through the book so that I can prepare for what lies ahead. And what I like here, there's an elemental reference guide. You might not actually have to make up a card actually, and I'll tell you why. Basically, we've got something here that we could put onto a worksheet, you know, for ourselves and keep it in our notebooks, or even just mark it here. Now I have marked one section here with a yellow tab. All the different colour tabs are different colours for a reason, okay? Now this yellow tab here, for me, is where I actually want to start, and it's breaking writer's block. I am going to completely read all this. I'm taking notes as I go along, and I've marked them so that I can refer back to aspects in this book. But you see, I have written, I think it's 13 chapters of this particular book, and I've hit a wall. So this is where I want to sit down. I have my characters, they have their personalities, so that work for me is done. Now I need to find out what happened. Why did I suddenly come to a grinding halt? Why did life, where my book is concerned, become a life of procrastination? So I thought, this is chapter 9, Breaking the Writer's Block, is the perfect place for me to start. And we look at language and symbols, okay? We look at mood and emotion on cards, but, you know, intimidating. When you have a tarot deck, however, inspiration is as close and as the nearest card, and you'll be amazed at how quickly your ideas will flow. At first, it might seem like magic. In tarot writing, the ideas seem to come from a mystical outside source and flow straight through you from the cards on the table to the pages of your notebook. Don't be fooled, however, the real magic is happening inside your head. Tarot cards simply help you tap into your subconscious mind, the true source of archetypal images and symbolism. And it's true, we're using tarot as a tool. We're using it now, not for divinatory purposes, but for character building, for story writing, and to prompt us into delving deep into our subconscious minds in order to find the key to unlock that is blocking us. Okay? So this goes on, instant inspiration, etc. So this chapter I am looking forward to reaching, but like I said, first and foremost, I'm going to finish chapters 5 through 8. There are all sorts of ideas. There's poetic inspiration. There's this here, writer 1 and writer 2. If you're for games, writing group games, the tarot card writing coach. Okay, in chapter 10. And then part 3 of the book, which is not far on, is a writer's guide to tarot cards. And in this has been broken down completely through the entire tarot deck, okay? So we'll start on the Fool. So here it tells us, first of all, what role the Fool plays in writing. So the Fool is the lead player in the drama of the deck. He represents every man, woman and child fortunate enough to find themselves in the cards. He's the happy wanderer on the journey of life, and he knows that half the fun is getting there. So it goes on there, the key symbols. So you've got here the leap of faith, the cliffhanger, the guard dog, the feather in the cap, patterns of nature, kinship. The fool's belt is made up of 7 planets of ancient astrology, which in turn corresponds to the 7 days of the week. Isn't this remarkable? You know, just little bits of information that are just put in there are things that will just stay in your mind. They're not things, oh, I have to remember this, I have to remember this. You're reading it and it just says, well, was I aware of that? I actually was not aware of that the belt represented that. My bad. Okay? But a lot of it I did. The eye of God, the range of possibilities, snow-capped mountains representing obstacles to be overcome, new heights to be scaled, new challenges, and the promise of accomplishment. And that is me right now. But also my character in my book. I'm going right back to the beginning. I hit a roadblock and I have to get right back to the beginning, and me as the writer starting out as the fool and hoping to accomplish this along with my main character to reach her full potential. And this is how these last few pages are, each card broken down into how they fit into the world of a writer. This is a book that I won't ever part with, because for me it's a book that is one that I can always refer back to. There's writing prompts, and there's space for you to make your own notes. There's so much help and guidance in this book that I do firmly believe that, albeit it's aimed at tarot for writers, that this book will be brilliant for anybody that's actually new to the tarot, because it not only in the very beginning does it explain tarot perfectly without diving into having to regurgitate a textbook full of, well, this, that and the other. It breaks it down so easily, it makes it easier to recall, and it is very, very user-friendly. It also would teach somebody who's new to tarot, give them a fantastic example of what other things tarot can be used for besides divinatory purpose. What's my day going to be like today, etc., etc. I like at the back we have a glossary of tarot terms and symbols. So you're looking at A, sort of abbey, above, below, abyss, acorn. So you've got all that, and this goes through every letter of the alphabet and covers every possible aspect of tarot that you can imagine. So there's so much there, and there's a wonderful glossary at the back, index at the back, books that Corinne has used to research her work. I have to say, if I was teaching tarot, I would love to get Corinne's permission to use this as a textbook, because I feel it can be used on so many levels. This is, for me, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, and some people might say, oh, Elaine, you're over pushing it. I'm not pushing this. I'm just saying that for me, this is one of the jewels in the crown when it comes to literature on tarot. Not just the fact that it's for writers, but a work of literature to encompass a lot of aspects of tarot. I would put this up there with a couple of my Mary K. Greers, etc. Love it, love it, love it. So this is me starting off. I'm reading as much as I want to read. Then I'm going to go back after I have read, and this is one of the reasons I'm sharing this with you now, because I want to get this read, and then I'm going to go back and start some of the activities. I might even go and do some of the earlier activities and maybe spruce up some of my characteristics from information I glean from my tarot. And then I'm going to go and hop ahead to the writer's block section. So folks, I hope you're going to enjoy this with me. Again, I'm using the World of Visions Tarot. I have my trusty orange notebook, and there's another one on my shelf there. This is so full of different tarot paraphernalia now. And I have also I went out and I got myself a little sketchbook, because I also find, for me, doodling also helps. So if I have a character in my mind, I will just doodle it. Just if my mind starts wandering, I just find that my hand, for some reason, can doodle, and I might doodle little faces all over a page. It might just be scribbles, but it's something that helps me focus and concentrate. So you put into practice what works for you whilst working through this book. And I'm sure that whatever it is you're writing, whatever it is, what a target you want to achieve, that they will be achievable. I need to take my own advice. I'm pretty good at giving it out, but not always great at taking it. So folks, from my little tarot haven, have a wonderful day. It's only early here now. I'm going to open my greenhouse. I'm going to harvest some tomatoes. My potatoes, second batch of the season, are nearly ready for harvesting. I've finished painting up all my massive giant pots that were gifted to me from a neighbour. Someone moved out, left their pots behind, didn't want them. They were a little bit on the gaudy side, so I have repainted them, and I'm on the search for saplings. And I am considering cherry and plum trees to put in each of the pots. 2 cherry, 2 plum. I was going to go apple, pear, cherry, plum. Apples thrive better when they can cross-pollinate, as do pears. But you can have 1 pear, 1 apple. See how my mind works, constantly racing. Just stick to plum and cherries, Elaine. Right. Take care. And I'll see you later. Bye now.